Are new COVID strains coming to southern Utah, and should residents be worried? The Utah Division of Wildlife Resources is listening to the public and plans to make some changes this hunting season. 2 are dead after an SUV rolls on I-15.
You're watching St. George News at 5.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Amy Bennett. Southern Utah is experiencing the spread of new COVID strains. Fortunately, it hasn't resulted in any hospitalizations. Chris Reed has the full coverage.
It's COVID season, and both experts and the current numbers of those infected and hospitalized show there's no reason to panic. With new strains that are the largest mutation since Omicron, the number of those infected with COVID in southern Utah has nearly tripled in the last few weeks with the new Eris and Parilla strains. But the number of those hospitalized in the last few months have been a little more than a dozen. And there have been no COVID cases in the ICU of St. George Regional Hospital since mid-June, and 2 COVID deaths all summer. COVID, at least locally, is no longer a killer, but that doesn't mean local health officials don't think people should be on guard as the COVID, flu, and cold season is arriving, especially for those over 65 and those at high risk. But a new vaccine becoming available in the next few weeks has been shown to be able to keep up with the new strains and prevent hospitalizations and deaths.
Thank you, Chris. Southern Utahns' feedback may be impacting this hunting season. Alicia Lundgren has more on the story.
Many of Utah's seasonal hunts are underway, and this year, Southern Utahns will see some changes to hunting rules. According to the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources, these regulations are made with input from experts and the public. Viewpoint's Big Game Coordinator Dax Mingus said are both necessary and valid. In southern Utah, the DWR recommended issuing 28% more general season deer permits, a change that was met with concern and skepticism from local hunters. After reviewing public feedback, the division lowered the number of permits, so the region saw a smaller 5% increase. Hunters, wildlife lovers, and other members of the public are important to the process, Mingus said, noting that hunters are often protective of the animals.
Hunters are really passionate about the resource. And most hunting regulations and rules are self-imposed by hunters that want to protect the resource. And it's a complex relationship for folks who aren't really into hunting. Sometimes it can be hard to understand, but hunters are super passionate advocates to protect the species that they love to hunt. And they want the resource to be managed sustainably. They want it to be something that they and their children and future generations can continue to enjoy.
There are a few more changes on how Washington County conducts its post-election audit. The change excites some, but others were upset over the changes this year. Here's Maury Kessler with the story.
Changes made to how Washington County conducts its post-election audits has made the process easier for some, while also frustrating others. Held at the Washington County Administration Building Friday afternoon, the purpose of the audit was to make sure that machines that recorded the votes did so correctly. This is done by having county staff review randomly selected batches of ballots and comparing the votes on those ballots to ones recorded by machines. A change made to the process this year includes selecting batches of ballots that represent individual precincts versus batches that contain 50 ballots collected from across the county. This is made possible through a new machine the county purchased last year that is able to tabulate ballots by precincts, which is said to be able to streamline and simplify the auditing process and, if necessary, recounts. A change that frustrated some members of the public who attended the audit is a change in state law that disallows the takings of photos or video or audio recordings while the audit is underway. One of the county's attorneys later told St. George News this is a recent change to state law.
Thanks, Maury. Tragedy struck on Saturday afternoon as a car flipped near Cedar Pocket and brought southbound traffic to a complete stop on I-15. Beaver Dam and Littlefield Fire Department Battalion Chief Andre Ojeda confirmed 2 fatalities. The incident involved an SUV with 7 passengers inside. The driver and 3 of the passengers were wearing their seatbelts, but the women in the back seat were not. The driver lost control of the vehicle and hit the center divider, causing the car to spin out and roll until the car hit the guardrail. 1 survivor was airlifted to St. George Hospital, but the other 2 passengers died at the scene. Washington County performs its first countrywide reading of the Constitution. Nick Yamashita has more on this event.
Washington County government leaders, police, firefighters, military veterans, citizens, and students all came together to participate in the first ever county-wide reading of the U.S. Constitution in the nation on Friday, September 15th at the Washington County Administrative Building. Washington County Commissioner Adam Snow said they did the reading on that day instead of Sunday, which is Constitution Day, so all students could attend and participate, as well as be one voice together for freedom, as it was important for our youth to know the supreme law of the land.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. I'm Amy Bennett with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.